All right, we're back. The Impossible Kid, Aesop Rock. I actually know the next song. I did a reaction to the video, but I did not realize this is where sometimes, oh, and I don't want the person to feel bad, but sometimes prior knowledge sucks. Nope, didn't recognize that it was The Shining yet because it had been kind of vague in the first video. I didn't quite recognize the overlook and the car is driving up. So the difference is, I was wondering about that red rum in the door, but I hadn't got that far yet. So that was on the thumbnail. So now I know what I'm seeing. I thought I would just go forward and watch this one quick, and maybe get a two for one right here. Because my day at court was uneventful. I was supposed to be a juror. I would have never made it. I didn't get picked. And then supposedly the a-hole judge came in and made a joke to win over the favor of the juror pool, saying, he got cold feet and he pled guilty. I don't know how he could put his own personal feelings on any of this, but as a more, I guess, non-well-adjusted human being, I took it as huge insult. I didn't know how he had a right to make that kind of joke and talk out his ass like he had any right, when they just showed me a movie saying, oh, I'm not supposed to talk out of turn. And see, this is the whole problem I have. The judge is not a better human being or a better person, or their position doesn't make them anything other than a human to me. I don't actually agree that power transfers with a title or a position. I don't agree with that at all, right? So it was this right here. It's the threat of force is why I complied, of course. Maybe people don't realize that. It's a threat of force they use to make you do this. Now, I would have brought up jury nullification as soon as I got asked questions, and they would have, boom. That, or just explain that I think the state's there to generate income and railroad people, and hope for people to plead out, which I don't believe in pleading out anything. I think the guilty should be proven guilty, but I don't think pleading out should be I don't think they should be able to cut you deals, and I think lawyers are all corrupt. And what I saw today backed up all of that negative behavior with how they hold themselves superior to you. And once again, it's a threat of force. So it's super unimpressive. Did not feel any civic responsibility at all. Felt like we're on a slippery slope to totalitarian control. I forgot. Oh.
Draw. Hard to admit that I used to draw. Portraiture in a human form. Doodle of a two-headed unicorn. It was soothing. Moving his arm in a fusion of man-made tools and amused from beyond. Even if it went beautifully wrong, it was tangible truth for a youth to refuse to belong. No name nuisance. Who's in a bedroom? Who's in a...
Yeah, no chance. By that point, I'd have known. I would have known what I was seeing.
Brand new cuneiform. Barely commune with the horde. Got a whole grayscale ungluing his world. Might zone amp to the yap of the magpie. Unseen hand dragging his graphite. Cross contour, little bit of backlight. Black ink after a Bristol to baptize.
If you are a first-time viewer, that faux Van Gogh is actually my work. I did a little art. Not that I do any anymore, and I'm not claiming I was any good at it. But I did realize the first time through, especially with the video, it made it pretty clear, kind of the, leaving an art behind kind of idea. So I did follow all that for the most, and I really liked his the cuneiform line. I liked that word usage.
You can imagine a rush that ensue when you get 3 dimensions stuffed in a 2. Then it's off to a school where it's all you get to, being trained and observed by a capable few. Back in New York by peeps and a dog in a 2-bedroom doing menial jobs. Plus rhyming and stealing and being a clod. Distractions, freedom, a rod. I left some years of giving a light. I left some will, the spirit away. I let my fears materialize. I let my skills deteriorate. Horn about a thought of what I should have been. Continuing a mission that was rooted in a 20-year affinity and rickety condition with an ID crisis. Snap on the front lawn, look up in the sky. It's shapes falling out of the fringe. All heart though we would have made cowardly kings. They will chop you down just to count your rings. Just to count your rings. Just to count your rings. And now we're colors pouring out of the fringe. All heart though we would have made cowardly kings. They will chop you down just to count your rings. Just to count your rings. Just to count your rings. Used to paint, hard to admit that I used to paint. Natural light on a human face, stenciled fire in his roommate's face. It was blooming addiction, a miss and a push and a pigment. Book like a tattooed pigskin look. Pinhead kids at a minute, drank Kool-Aid from a tube of acrylic. And I grew up in a linseed oil of linen. Joy to the poison, voice to the resin. Capture a map of a gesture. Back up, add a little accurate fat to the figure. Redo that, move that inward, zinc. And I grew up in a linseed oil of linen. Joy to the poison, voice to the resin. Capture a map of a gesture. Back up, add a little accurate fat to the figure.
Did I? Oh, I wonder if I noticed that the first time. Seems like was it the Botticelli's and that last line, the accurate fat to a figure. I like that. It makes me think of the portly. Did I think of that the first time? I probably did. It really pops out.
Redo that, move that inward. Zinc white lightning shoots from his fingers. Studio strewn with illusion and tinctures. Stay tuned for the spooky adventures. You can imagine the stars that align when a forearm starts foreshortening right, or a torso hung on a warping spine in proportion. Reads as warm and alive. Routine day with a dirt cheap brush. Then a week goes by and it goes untouched. Then 2, then 3, then a month, and the rest of your life to beat yourself up. I left some seasons eager to fall. I left some work to bury alive. I let my means of being dissolve. I let my person curl up and die. Eating up his innards and unfeasible anxiety is brutally committed to relinquishing his privacy, aligning with the trials of the anti-Midas. Snap on the back lawn, look up in the sky. It's shapes falling out of the fringe. All heart though we would have made cowardly kings. They will chop you down just to count your rings. Just to count your rings. Just to count your rings. And now we're colors pouring out of the fringe. All heart though we would have made cowardly kings. They will chop you down just to count your rings. Just to count your rings. Just to count your rings.
I'm getting sick and tired of never understanding. Where is the truth you promised?
The kid that...
All right, okay. Before we'll hit this one too. That song's awesome, boy. I like that one a lot. I'll try to remember to link it below. Yeah, it hits heavy. I like it better. Yeah, I'm almost to the place where I have to admit that it depends on what I'm trying to do. If it's video, well, this is pretty simple. Right now it's easier. Now I know what I'm seeing. I can just focus on the music like a studio track. But I think I like the studio track with an album cover or nothing. Sometimes I get too distracted by the videos and can't comprehend just how. I mean, I think that song, that Rings, was better this time than it was the first time. I mean, and then I would agree that there's some of those lyrical, some of the bars there are probably meant to for self-exploration. Along with a narrative, there's probably a lot of stuff you could use to look internally or externally. Seems like he packs a lot of tools in with his narrative, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Work down at the local Baskin Robbins, got a tattoo of a lipstick.
We're going to go back and I'll shut my pie hole for a little while.
Where is the truth you promised?
The kid that worked down at the local Baskin Robbins got a tattoo of a lipstick print attached above his collar. I watched him relocating pistachio to a waffle, thinking I had lost the plot, if not the passion for the novel. He asked me what I wanted, I ordered something daft. He said he liked the tattoo Alex drew me of the bats. Thanks, I like it too, but modestly confess, in present company my coloring is not the main event. Look at that neck, the message is immediate, the guy F's chicks. I spent a lot of years making friends with cool artists, so when they drew me tattoos I could truly feel important. Now some 22-year-old inside a cube of brick and mortar got me questioning my morals in their corny pecking order. I should give a shit less. Cherry, no. Whip, yes. Lotta years. Lot of years. The girl that worked down at the local juice place got a head full of dreadlocks down to her waist. I watched her add the spinach to the ginger to the grapes. My hair was underwhelming, my juice was fucking great. Some lady orders maca, compliments the locks. She asked how many years it took the girl to grow the crop. It took a lot of years and then eventually I cut them, kept them, and reattached them anytime I want them. My mind's fucking blown, the future is amazing, I feel so fucking old. I bet you clone your pets and ride a hoverboard to work. I used a folding map to find the juice place in the first. These kids are running wild, I'm still recovering from church. You should have seen me in the 90s, I could ollie up a curb. You should have seen me in the 80s, I was bumping New Edition, dragging acne into Hades. Lot of years. Lot of years.
Okay, I gotta hear that one more time because it seemed like it was as simple as trying to go as deep as you can, ordering a couple of drinks.
Where is the truth you promised?
The kid that worked down at the local Baskin Robbins got a tattoo of a lipstick print attached above his collar. I watched him relocating pistachio to a waffle, thinking I had lost the plot, if not the passion.
I mean, because he's talking about going in, he's talking about the guy working there. He's doing something creative at work, and dude's like, I can't even. I think that's what he means by that.
For the novel, he asked me what I wanted. I ordered something dead.
Yeah, so like he's to being so creative in his job or so something that you're like, oh man, I just don't get it. That dude's into it. Kind of maybe it's the opposite of that. But then try to order something to feed his lust for work. I don't know.
He said he liked the tattoo Alex drew me of the bats. Thanks. I like it too, but modestly confess, in present company my coloring is not the main event.
So that's all about the tattoo. And then he's referenced who actually designed it, I think.
Look at that neck, the message is immediate, the guy F's chicks. I spent a lot of years making friends with cool artists, so when they drew me tattoos I could truly feel important. Now some 22-year-old inside a cube of brick and mortar got me questioning my morals in their corny pecking order.
So I'd have to go back to something about his shitty lipstick tattoo versus his probably quality tattoo, something like that. I'm not... Just seeing what I can, who knows.
I should give a shit less. Cherry, no. Whip, yes.
I mean, in the end, he's ordering a sundae, right? No cherry, whipped cream on top.
Lot of years. Lot of years. The girl that worked down at the local juice place got a head full of dreadlocks down to her waist. I watched her add the spinach to the ginger to the grapes. My hair was underwhelming, my juice was fucking great. Some lady orders maca, compliments the locks. She asked how many years it took the girl to grow the crop. It took a lot of years and then eventually I cut them, kept them, and reattached them anytime I want them. My mind's fucking blown, the future is amazing, I feel so fucking old. I bet you clone your pets and ride a hoverboard to work. I used a folding map to find the juice place in the first. Kids are running wild, I'm still recovering from church. You should have seen me in the 90s, I could ollie up a curb. You should have seen me in the 80s, I was bumping New Edition, dragging acne into Hades. lot of years.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. I like that. I'm not sure. The last two lines just maybe seem like putting them in time and place. Contemplating the future and reflecting on where you've been, kind of thing. I don't know. I'm trying to do my best for this just so Mike gets the full meal deal. And it's not really for just Mike. It's not. It just so happens he's the guy that turned me on to it, so he'll get the credit. But I get the reward. So I might as well go as hard as I can and figure out, or, take a shot. Because if I'm wrong, like here, the first one, turns out it was living in San Francisco. That's as easy as it, or leaving, one of the two, or existing there, then leaving kind of deal. But if I put San Francisco as the backdrop in my mind, the song would make a lot more sense. And actually, I get that. The art narrative in the second one's pretty straightforward. Third one, we've got, like I said, it sounds like ordering food. Ordering food, a sundae and a drink. Talking about hair and tattoos. Reflecting on one's future and past self. Let me know in the comments. Otherwise, we'll move on. Take care.